start this one with a quote from Joe Rogan. What could go wrong using robots to kill people in a land where men can get pregnant? What? And billions of dollars can be lost as amphetamine-popping incels manage made-up money. We're fine. What could go wrong? We're fine. Now, I kind of think using robots to kill in rare and exceptional circumstances like San Francisco is proposing, I'm okay with it. Yeah, in a limited scope and certain circumstances. The problem is that really going to happen? I mean, we're literally talking about RoboCop, right? This is RoboCop. The Dallas Police Department used a robot in 2016 to kill a suspect with an explosive device. That makes sense to me. That's reasonable. Why risk a live cop if you've got, a robot there? It's just who's running the robot, right? So let's see what the deal is. San Francisco police propose allowing robots to kill in rare and exceptional circumstances. We gotta check this out. This is a good one. I'm on kind of a little bit of a San Francisco roll. We just talked. I just finished up another podcast. By the way, I'm in Oklahoma City. If you're wondering why I'm not sitting in my studio back in Bellevue, having a great time down here with my parents. We're doing a little Thanksgiving stuff. We're kind of running around and it's been a break in the action, so I'm going to record some podcasts because the news keeps going. It doesn't care if it's Thanksgiving. We just head down and go. San Francisco authorities have proposed a policy that would allow its military-style robots to use deadly force in situations where someone's life is in danger and other dangerous instances. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? A draft policy by the San Francisco Police Department outlines how it would use its 17 remote-controlled unmanned robots, which are often used to defuse bombs and deal with hazardous materials. I think that's the big distinction we've got going on here, is people are thinking, well, RoboCop's going to be walking around the street just like it did in the original movie. I don't know if you remember the first time you saw RoboCop. Did you see RoboCop? That was incredibly violent. That was just like, woof, yeah. I don't know if we should really be watching this because this is, some pretty gnarly stuff, right? I mean, just the graphics for its time on the amount of violence were kind of off the charts. But that's literally where we're at now. We've got the technology to make that happen. And so San Francisco is going, hey, some other police force units, and the government uses them all the time in, military action, right? The robots listed in this section shall not be utilized outside of training and simulations, criminal apprehensions, critical incidents, exigent circumstances, executing a warrant, or during suspicious device assessment, the draft states. That seems to cover a lot of territory, doesn't it? And again, I'm okay with this because you know what? I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not out there breaking the law. And if I was and RoboCop came along, yeah, that's what you get. That's what you get. Robots will only be used as a deadly force option when risk of loss of life to members of the public or officers is imminent and outweighs any other force option available to San Francisco Police Department. So it's literally last resort is what we've got going on. How do you make that determination? I don't know. That's why the cops got the training, right? Of the 17 robots that they currently have, only 12 are functioning. You need to get some of Elon Musk's Tesla engineers in there, right? I mean, they're reworking all of Twitter as we speak. I think Twitter is going to come out on the other side, a lean, mean fighting machine. And all these people leaving Twitter, yeah, they're all going to come back. You know it. You know Trump's coming back. He just doesn't have a big enough platform on Truth Social. And these other folks, I mean, yeah, they can use Instagram, but they need to keep themselves relevant, right? That's their job. They're going to go back on Twitter, and it's because of all Elon Musk's software engineers. He's making it all happen. A police spokesperson told The Verge that the department has always had the ability to use lethal force when risk of loss of life to members of the public or officers are imminent and leave no other options available. Now they're specifically stating, we would like to use RoboCop. San Francisco Police Department does not have any sort of specific plan in place as the unusually dangerous or spontaneous operations where the police need to deliver deadly force via robot would be a rare and exceptional circumstance, said Officer Eva. Wow, that is a last name. I'm going to take a run at it, but I'm sorry, Eve. I'm going to butcher this bad boy. Lackawansanthia, I believe that's the name, told the news outlet in a statement. Fox News Digital has reached out to the San Francisco Police Department, hasn't heard back. Here's the example of the Dallas Police Department. In 2016, the Dallas Police Department used an explosive device attached to a robot to kill a suspect in the coordinated sniper attack that killed 5 officers. At the time, experts said it was the first time law enforcement had used a robot for deadly force. If you don't have to put public servant that is a human in the line of fire, I'm totally okay with it. As long as you can control that. That's where I'm kind of like, all right, well, who makes the call if the robot can take somebody out? Who makes that call of, all right, it's go time, pull that trigger? I don't know. There's got to be a massive chain of command. That's where my police background is pretty limited, like none other than, the occasional handcuffing when I was young and maybe an arrest or 2 somewhere back in there. But I don't worry about that kind of thing. In Oakland, California, authorities were there considering using armed robots, according to a report. However, the department last month said that leaders decided against it. No go. It's probably an optics thing, right? And it's also it's a situation where you're allowing just kind of one more thing to get into the equation. And there's so much public scrutiny on what police are doing that, this thing's just got to be dialed in. And it sounds like some police departments already have it on board, like Dallas. Other police departments, can use the technology, obviously, but then they're basically saying, yeah, we don't really want to. We're choosing not to, for whatever reason. The Oakland Police Department is not adding armed remote vehicles to the department, an October 13th police statement said. Oakland Police Department did take part in ad hoc committee discussions with the Oakland Police Commission and community members to explore all possible uses for the vehicle. This is going to come to a town near you, right? Because we've got the technology, we've got the ability to build this stuff. If it saves some officer's life, at this point in time, with as few cops as we have across the United States, it's not just Portland, it's not just Seattle, it's not just these knuckleheaded West Coast cities. It's police officers in a lot of communities because we've just kind of had this big whole, we're not looking highly upon policing right now. So to me, anything that can be done but puts us in the right trajectory of getting some more cops on the street and making things go. Where there is not a incredible lack of police on the streets? Here in Oklahoma. And it is very, very apparent because your homelessness is almost non-existent. You got a city of like 650,000, I think Oklahoma City is. That's where I am right now. And you've got less than 100 homeless people? Yeah. Weird. It's about the same size as Portland, which has how many thousand? Because they've allowed it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but state of Oklahoma has a Republican governor, I recall, and it's mostly Republican. So yeah, we've got almost no homelessness. I did a run through downtown Oklahoma City with my dad, driving in the car, and we got out at a bunch of different places. And I've always just been shocked at how little graffiti, homelessness, just overall appearance. Now, Oklahoma as a state has some crazy crime going on. It's Oklahoma City. You've got some criminal activity, but it kind of seems like it's people just doing it to each other and it's not random. It's a lot of it. Drug gang activity, that kind of thing. Those are the shootings. Those are the kind of violence that happens here in Oklahoma City. But it's kind of in specific neighborhoods and it doesn't seem to leach out into the other areas. It's not like Seattle. Like what I always recognize when I come down here is that, oh yeah, this is kind of how Seattle used to be, or Portland used to be. You used to be able to leave your front door unlocked and you'd be good. You could get robbed here. It does happen every now and then. But you don't have just this incredible sense of lock everything up and, well, I hope my car's still there tomorrow. I got up 2 mornings ago and I was doing some cardio outside and I went by a U-Haul vehicle that was clearly loaded with stuff and the back of the rig was loaded with stuff as well. You would not see that in Seattle or Portland in kind of the neighborhood that the hotel that I'm staying at is located in. A lot of hotels. You can go to my Instagram page and see some videos of, what I'm working with down here in Oklahoma City. My point is that, based on what the political direction a city takes, it's wildly clear. You come to a Republican-run town, you come to a state that's run by a Republican. There's some stuff that people might say, the abortion thing, they're going to go down one direction that's just way too harsh. And it's like, all right, yeah, but look at this other stuff. Look at how things are run in the downtown core. You've basically managed homelessness to the point where it's zero. Some of that also is the weather down here. It would be horrible to be a homeless person. In the summer, blazing hot. In the winter, it's cold, and you got that wind, you get that southwest wind that comes across the Great Plains or whatever, and it's so cold. Even when it's like 50 degrees outside and you've got just a little bit of this bitter wind, it'd be a terrible place to be homeless. I saw 2 homeless people in downtown Oklahoma City a couple of days ago. 2. Dose. And they were in little tiny areas with their tents, and things were very well organized. So yeah, it's wild, right? So bottom line is you don't have to let this stuff slide. And if you do, boy, that's a slippery slope, right? Because Seattle is, really struggling. Here's one thing Seattle was proposing was the gunshot sound. There's, they wanted a couple $1 million for this gunshot sound. I think it's called spotter technology. And so it basically, I think it calls 911 when it hears what it thinks is a gunshot. And the mayor is trying to get that going in Seattle. It's already up in, I think, a couple of dozen cities across the United States. But, Seattle is just so wishy-washy and so weak, and its leadership has just always been, let's just let everything go. It'll be fine. So our mayor is actually trying to do something about the, rising levels of gun violence. And the city basically said, well, yeah, probably not here. And I figured that would happen. But a lot of it's because everybody's budgets have been whacked so hard. And Seattle is not immune. So they're trying to figure out, all right, which things can we afford? We've got all these vacant police positions. Yeah, we're going to whack those jobs. Well, they don't have the police officers coming in that they need to keep the city safe. So in the meantime, they're not paying those jobs. So take that out of the budget. The concern is that when the supply is there, hey, are you going to up the budget to make this all go? Because you're certainly going to need to. So cities are playing around with those kind of dynamics. Not here in Oklahoma City. So bottom line is, will we see RoboCop in a town near you soon? Will you see it if you go to San Francisco? No, you won't. But you might hear about it in some very isolated incidences, like bombs. And I don't know. What I was kind of thinking of was we have so many situations where police are forced to encounter, some crazy dude that's, without a shirt on and might have half his pants on with a knife. And those are oftentimes the situations that end with somebody losing their life. And it's a horrible, tragic thing because these are usually people that are not in control of their mental capabilities and they get taken out. I was kind of thinking, well, yeah, that'll be a situation that this might be applicable. If you got a RoboCop in there, the RoboCop isn't going to die and he can do what needs to be done. But somebody's got to be running the RoboCop. And oftentimes you don't know these situations until you're on top of them, right? The cop doesn't know what the guy's going to do. And the cop's supposed to use his de-escalation techniques to calm the dude down. But unfortunately, the dude's on meth and he's crazy. And that double-sided combination doesn't allow for rational thinking and the ability to put that knife down. So those were kind of some of the things that jumped to my mind when I heard this storyline, but that doesn't sound like that's going to be the deal. If you're a police officer and you've been discussing this, let me know in the comments how you've heard or how you've maybe seen in your department how this actually gets put into use. RoboCop 2022. Is it going to be a thing? Already is, right? Already is. We'll just have to kind of see, all right, this has been identified. What are we going to do moving forward? And I will keep you posted right here on News for Reasonable People. Also, don't forget to check out reasonabletv.com. That's where we got some good stuff. That's where all the good stuff goes. reasonabletv.com. Thanks again for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.